Up.
All right. Good.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'd like to welcome you to Inside the Zone, right here on Linkage Radio 101.5 FM in New York. My guest this evening is Leo Gilling, and it's all about education for a nation. Leo is the chairperson of the Jamaica Diaspora Educational Task Force, the JDETF, and we're here to discuss with him about the exciting news, the I Support Jamaica Interparish Competition. Leo, well, once again.
Thank you, very much, Lady D. I'm so happy to be here with you discussing or about to discuss this parish competition that's different from anything else that we've done before from the diaspora.
Thank you. Now, could you please share what is I Support and how did it all start?
All right. So let's go from start. Back in 2013, when I became the Diaspora Advisory Board member for Western United States, I was always doing a lot of things for healthcare. Mm-hmm. So since 2006, I've been in the healthcare business, giving back, finding a little gaps here and finding gaps there, and giving back to healthcare, because the people who I was working with were all about healthcare. But when I became the Diaspora Education Task Force, I figure my strength, my heart belongs to the classroom. My heart, I am a teacher at heart. In fact, at heart, I went to Sam Shaw Teachers College and I played that there a little bit. Yes. And spent 3 years becoming a teacher. Mm-hmm. And since once you're a teacher, you're always a teacher. Mm-hmm. So in 2013, after we went into the diaspora conference, I got this little birdie in me that says, hey, let's change gear a little bit and go into education. So I got 6 of my colleagues together who I know education platform also, and we started meeting. For 2 months we met, and then we got some other people on board on August 6th, August 13th, 2013, and we decided that we're going to push forward. We sent out letters, we sent out interviews, we sent out surveys, we sent out all different things right across the playing field in Jamaica, the education playing field. Mm-hmm. And the first person to respond was a gentleman at the Jamaica Teachers Association. His name at the time he was the president at the time. His name is Dr. Mark Nicely. Mm-hmm. And he fell in love with the platform that we were creating. And he was so impressed, said to us, we can talk all day long on conference call, because that's how we're meeting. Mm-hmm. He said, but I want to see you guys across the table from me. So many of us traveled from New York, from Connecticut, from Minnesota, and converged from Florida, and converged onto California in Los Angeles, mm-hmm. where I was living at the time. And we had 3 major big days of meetings with the Jamaica Teachers Association. And when we were done, we decided that we wanted to have what is called a summit, an mm-hmm. education summit. Mm-hmm. And why is that called a summit? We didn't want it to be the same vein of a conference. What we were wanting to do, several of us would go to Jamaica, sit down with teachers, sit down with the Ministry of Education, sit down with the GTA, sit down with the Early Childhood Commission, all of the educators, all of the stakeholders that are on the. We decided that we want to go and sit down and just talk. We want to hear what the gaps are, the challenges are. We want to hear about what the teachers are doing in the classroom, and once we were done with those 4 days of meetings, of summit meetings, we decided that we were going to put this called a 6-year plan together. Mm-hmm. So yes. We put a 6-year plan of development based on everything that the teacher says, based on everything that the ministry says, and the Early Childhood Commission, and the Teachers Commission, and we put down everything. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that came out of Venice was we left that meeting, and I got a call from the USAID and they made a proposal to us. They said, okay, you guys sound good. We want to give you an opportunity to continue something that started back in 2009 but could not continue. It's called Camp Summer Plus.
Okay.
So Camp Summer Plus, did you say something?
No, I'm listening to you.
No. So Camp Summer Plus was for grade 3 students who are at risk of failing to go to grade 4. And if they go to grade 4, they will fail the achievement test in grade 4. So they said, are you guys ready to take on that challenge? I said, yes, we are ready. They gave us US $250,000 to do this camp, right?
Really?
So
Yes.
we got all of our players together, and we in summer of 2015 we engaged what some camps plus 3 different campuses: Sam Sharp Teachers College, the Pasley Garden, not Pasley Garden, CASE, that's College of Agriculture, Science and Engineering over in Portland, and we also, the third one was on the campus of Cedar Grove. Cedar. I don't remember the name of the school. It's a brand new school over in the corporate area in Houston.
Okay.
In Newport, not Newport. I forgot the name of the city.
Right.
But that school was as big as a college campus, and so we had the third there. And let me tell you, the camp ran for 5 weeks. It's called Portmore, over in Portmore. I'm so sorry. It's the school is over in Boyce.
Okay.
Cedar Academy. Cedar Grove Academy in Portmore. And at the end of the 5 weeks, the camp was for 5 weeks, and they were taught, most of the students, they did a test and found that they were below grade 2, below grade 1, 5 grades sometimes below grade 1, and they're in grade 3. So we had a challenge of bringing them up in that 5 weeks, bring up their reading skills. And at the end of 5 weeks, most of them were up. There were 390 students, and they all came up with the help of some fortification by a group out of Ohio called Issa Trust Foundation. They brought medical, they brought vision, and they brought hearing. And what we found, 25% of the students who were in this camp could not see the blackboard, what was written on the blackboard. So we had the eye care specialist gave out glasses to these students in the first week so that they will have a chance to read at the end of the camp. Let me tell you something. We were so excited it was done. We knew that this would have happened, and the grade report came out, and they all went up at 2 and 3 grade scores at a time. We were happy for that.
Boy, Leo, I tell you, oh my God.
2015.
Oh, I'm listening to you, and I am excited. I am just picturing this. Believe
We're
me.
not done. Let me tell you something. Out of that summit also, we had a member of our Jamaican community who works on the campus of Loma Linda University. And that turned into something amazing for us, because Loma Linda University offers a 1-week course for teachers who are teaching in the classroom in Jamaica. And they offer 5 teachers an opportunity to come to Loma Linda in California and learn how to use iPads and tablets to teach STEM in the classroom, right? So the teachers came to California, we hosted them, and they sat in the classroom for, literally 10, 11 hours a day, learning how to incorporate. Because Jamaica, we taught them a lot in Jamaica, but we don't do it, right? So the teachers are getting an opportunity to use the tablets or the iPads to teach in the classroom. That program has been going on for 3 years now. So we've had 5 students in 2014. 5 students in 2014, 5 in 2015, and 5 in 2016. But it was expanded this year to 100 teachers. We had the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Information, they put the tablet together for us to give to the teachers, and the administrators from Loma actually took 8 of them down to Jamaica to teach 100 teachers down there. So instead of continuing with the 5, we still had the 5 that went to Loma Linda, but this time the program was expanded to host 100 teachers. So 100 teachers got tablets, and they also got projects to work with. They'll come and show us what kind of projects they did in their classroom. So that's another very big thing that we gained from it.
Amazing. You get that?
We're not done. We're not done yet, lady. This year we had the second biannual summit where we met 800 teachers, right? 2 days we spent in professional development for the teachers, where we teach them leadership, and 5 different modules were taught, and they would in the classroom and get taught the leadership skills, the 5 leadership skills, and these skills are the middle managers, we call senior teachers in Jamaica. And what those senior teachers do, they are the ones responsible for each. For example, the math senior teacher would lead the other math teachers and run a department of mathematics. The English teacher, the senior teacher in English, would run a department of teachers in the English discipline, and so forth and so on. And so Jamaica hasn't spent any time with these new managers. No kind of professional development has been offered to these teachers. So we brought professionals from here, does in education and so forth, to Jamaica to teach them. Give them a 2-day course in these leadership areas. And it was the most amazing thing. We had surveys done after, and you should see some of the appreciative notes that came back to us. It's really good. They all got certificates, and we are going to do it again in another couple of years. So we have developed a skill in bringing teachers in Jamaica these areas of leadership, and we're happy for that.
Well, I'd like to say congrats to you all.
As a result of that, ID, we have done many other things, but we have seen where there is a need for other areas to be impacted in education. So we have been working on a project from probably 2 years now. It's been in the embryonic stage, but this year we're going to go full force after we came back from the summit in March. And the project is called a global fundraiser. And let me tell you, everybody in the diaspora who says they don't know how to give back to their country, how to make a difference in their country, this is the opportunity for them to give to Jamaica, give to their homeland, the land of their birth. This is the opportunity. What we have come to do is to design a project that will allow parishes to compete against each other to make $2 million within 9 days, right? So the competition starts on the stroke of November 1 and ends on January 31st this year. Right now we're in the recruiting stage, recruiting people for it, advertising, soft engagement, soft PR, that kind of stuff going on right now. On the 1st of October, we get very aggressive. So we have $2 million to make, and that is subdivided by parish. So it's up to about $155,000 per parish. And we're asking that every person who has affiliation with a parish get involved and make your parish win this competition. What does each parish get? Each parish, whether or not they made their goal will get an upgrade. So we will identify schools in the area, the most needy school in each parish, one in each parish. We will do infrastructure development for this particular school in this parish. So right now, the National Education is going around doing assessment in all the schools that are up on the radar that says this school needs upgrade, and they're doing their work to figure out, okay, which school is going to be the beneficiary of this particular engagement. And so the next week we have an announcement of that they're through with their assessment and they've come up with particular schools. But Winning English will get an opportunity to upgrade 2 schools rather than 1. Okay. But right now we're going for 14 schools, 1 in each parish, and the winning parish will get a chance to upgrade 2 schools. So this is good. So we've engaged and are in partnership companies that are already in the diaspora. They have extended an outreach into the diaspora for them with clients and with friends and families. And
right.
So we thought about this very carefully about which partners that we wanted.
All right, Leo, hold on a moment, okay? Because I see a call coming in. Let me see if they want to talk to you. Hold on. Welcome to the show. Good afternoon. Hello.
Lady.
Yes.
How you do?
Good.
You know who talking to you?
Yes, I do. Bobcat.
Listen, what that young man is saying is.
And would you like to talk to him?
Well, no, I'm kind of on the go, but.
Oh, because I had to break conversation to pick up your call.
Yes, I know. What is the reason why I call is that I want to find out from you if I pass by the studio, could I get this information?
Yes, sure.
Tell him that I'm very,
Bobcat, may I conference you? It's easy to conference you.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, hold on. Hello?
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, Leo?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Bobcat?
Yes,
all right.
I'm here. Leo.
Hey, Bobcat.
Listen, you have some great news up there, man. I'm glad to hear all these things happening.
Yes, thank you very much, my friend. Very too.
Because on my way out here, I was thinking the same thing. You know, what can be done for our children. You know, I heard a thing on Facebook the other day asking if we should Spanish be our second language. And I'm thinking to myself, seeing that we're surrounded by so much Spanish-speaking countries, maybe we should do that and start as young as possible with children.
Okay, let me respond to that. Is that the only question you have? Is that the only question you have?
No, it's just an idea. It's just an idea. And,
okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Leo.
And the next thing is, people who want to give back, who want to help schools are people. Is it hard for them to send things out, or would it be hard, would it cost them to send things out for the kids?
Okay, good question. All right, so the way we operate, as a task force is that we look at the government staff, right? And whatever is that the government set as their priorities is where we want to go. So right now, the priority is to spend time on early childhood development. Right, it's a good thing you asked that question because our focus is on early childhood at the basic school, infant school, and the primary school level. Those are the areas that we're focusing on. Okay? Now, if the government comes and say, hey, we want to make Spanish be our second language, right? And they reach out to the diaspora, we need your help, then we'll find people. There are a lot of Jamaicans out here in the diaspora who know all their job about teaching Spanish. And we then would go out there and see these people and say, okay, what kind of professional development you can provide for our teachers, and we will insert it. That's what we do. And we will insert it at the various levels, whatever levels it is that they are. But I don't think right now that Spanish is something that they are looking at. I've not heard that anywhere. I know that they have been talking about allowing students speak in their natural tongue, which is the Jamaican language, right?
Yeah.
Some people are saying let's stop talking about patois because they don't want to use the term patois anymore. They want to use the term Jamaican language because they say it's a language. Right? So students to speak to the teachers in their natural language. There are some people who are saying no, we shouldn't do that, and some people saying yes, we should do that. The decision gets made on that. But what I know for sure is that go ahead.
Well, I was saying myself, we can be in a position where they can do both. They're taught English to the extent where they master it, and of course they get to know the Jamaican language to the extent where they master it. So whichever one they use to communicate in, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And we know both.
And do we not have teachers in Jamaica who are fluent in Spanish, and it is a part of our curriculum? Because most of us were taught Spanish, some took it to advanced level, and some went on to language training center and things, and they've gone on to UN to be interpreters and all that.
But that's what I'm saying.
What he was saying is that he wanted it to a second language, but I don't know that it has been in any discussion at all.
Okay. So Bobcat, are you proposing that he brings this to the table to his group?
Yeah, if it is possible. I mean, it won't hurt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I will bring that. Incidentally, I sit down with Mr. once each time that I get a chance to sit with him.
Right.
So I will make this one of the things. I'll bring that up to him and see what he says about it. As I know, they're struggling with the Jamaican language versus English language. But I'm very happy to say that in the schools that I've been to and the colleges, when I went to college, I couldn't speak any form of Jamaican language on the campus unless I'm talking to my brothers and my friends, right?
Right.
But but no, I looked and I went to a speech class on campus, and they were speaking in Jamaican tongue. They were speaking in Jamaican language. That's comfortable, They do everything, but when they write in proper English. So I will definitely put this down, and I'm sure some of my colleagues that are listening, and so I know that they'll be bringing this down to as a possible discussion that we will have with the minister when we talk.
Right.
And thank you.
And my second question. My second question.
Remind me of the second question again. I'll take it out for you.
About where. All right.
Okay, I remember now. So listen, I like to handle this in a particular way. A lot of people like to take things to Jamaica and be bogged down at customs, they get bogged down at customs. Pens and papers and books and stuff and the bags and stuff. Let me tell you this for sure. There are stores in Jamaica that sell the same exact products that you're buying here to take to Jamaica, right?
Okay.
And all you have to do is go online, talk to somebody in their customer service department, make an order, and they'll ship it to the school for you, right? So a lot of people are still millions of students. It's the new law that they have creates a big problem, and it's very costly. Now, if you insist on bringing things to Jamaica, make it easier on yourself. The National Education Trust is built. It was created by the Ministry of Education to handle. It's a foundation set up to handle these things that are coming. So when you go through them, they will make it easier for you. They'll take it for you, and if you pay a couple of dollars extra, they'll take it to the clearance before you get there, and they'll take it to whatever location it is. So that's an easy way. Most times, the government says if you want to bring some of the country and you are a not-for-profit organization, use a foundation in Jamaica to clear those, and it costs you less.
It costs you less.
Because the government has to make money on everybody who's coming here to sell stuff.
Right, I understand. Is the acronym NET, that it?
Yes, NET, National Education Trust. And I can give you her number real quickly. She has no problem me telling you what her number is in her office. I just got off the phone with her. So just give me a second. Let me get her telephone number for you. And her name is Latoya Harris. Okay, Latoya Harris. And Latoya's number is 876-922-3124. She really doesn't have a problem because it's another number for you, 876-967-7962.
796. What's the last digit?
16.
62.
62. Okay. That's the National Education Trust, and if you want to ship it to Jamaica, call her first. Believe me, it's easier to deal with her than to deal with anybody else. She's very smart and upfront with you. She tells you everything upfront. Okay.
Well, beautiful, man. Listen, I am so happy that you have graced us with this information and stuff, because I'm sure some great things are going to come out of this.
Yes. Absolutely. I really look forward to it very, very much so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And lady, thanks for bringing it, for broadcasting. I'm really happy.
You're most welcome. I try.
And it is nice hearing your voice after such a long time.
Yes, I was here Monday and you were sleeping.
All right, take care, and thank you both.
All right, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you too.
Yes, we continue with our discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, with me on air this evening is Leo Gilling. He's chairperson of the Jamaica Diaspora Educational Task Force, and we're talking this evening about the I Support Jamaica Interparish competition, and this has begun since it's starting November 1 through January 31.
Exactly. What I was saying to you, Lady D, was that we have brought partners on to this campaign. It's very important for us to choose our partners carefully. And so we went to Grace Kennedy, has its products in all countries where Jamaicans and non-Jamaicans are. Yes. So we feel that that's a good company to be. And we got Jamaica National. Has locations in the major diaspora regions, Canada, UK, and United States, and then also have VMBS, that's Victoria Building Mutual Society, and has its money services also. So Western Union we are still talking. I shouldn't even mention their name. Has Western Union and First Global Bank. JN has its money transfer department and its banking department, and also UBS has its money transfer and the banking department also. So, and they have all extended out. So those are our major partners. We make the decisions together. We talk together about everything that we're going to do. So this is a very important campaign, and I know that if they were not convinced that the package
Oh,
was
indeed.
good for this campaign, they would not have signed on.
Not at
right?
all.
So we know that our package is good. And so the 1st November, we will have what is called a launch in Jamaica. We'll have we're inviting the former prime ministers of Jamaica, right? Mr. Golding, Patterson, Siaga, Portia Simpson, Miller, and also the prime minister. We're sending out invitations to them. We're also inviting former ministers of education, Bertrand Whiteman. We're inviting Maxine Henry and Ronnie Sweet.
Okay.
And the current
Education minister
is automatically going to be there,
Right.
So and then we're inviting our partners and sponsors and the media for the day. It's from 10 a.m. until 11. And we're putting it on, and these guys are going to talk about education. They're going to talk about how the diaspora can help. This is going to be the big kickoff, and this is we want to be worldwide published. We want everybody in the diaspora to hear.
Right.
Another thing that we're doing, we're getting the endorsement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Camilla Johnson Smith, and she we've requested for her to endorse us so that we can do promotional launches right across diaspora in all of the consulates
Yes.
and all of the missions and embassies, so that once we do this, the members of the community are called and talk about it just like I'm talking about it on air right now.
Right.
So this is a big thing. I've never been, you know, Star Trek says, go where no man has gone before. This is what we're doing.
Yes, yes.
And believe me, all of the safeguards are intact. So some person asks you, so how is it, how do we know that the money that you collect
Right.
will end up into where it's going? Okay, it's because we've put safeguards in place. Our fiscal sponsor, Union of Jamaica Alumni Association, been in business for 26 years, very reputable.
Yes.
So they will be handling all of the revenue coming in and expending all of the money dispersing all of the money going out.
Right.
So the National Education Trust will identify schools, and they will identify the contractors, and we diaspora will get a chance to figure out which contractor it is that we're going to use on what project, and then monies will be disbursed to contractors in phases, maybe 2, maybe 3 phases.
Right.
After the workers start in phase 1 is done, we give them money. Phase 2 is done, we give them money. We have
Right.
to
So
go
you're not
and
giving them
inspect
in a lump
and give them
sum.
money based on that.
All right. So they're not
Right.
getting it all at one time.
Right. So we just we're not giving the government money. We're disbursing it from our fund, from our account. So we know what is going to happen. So here's another full idea that we want, and it's being done. Adding a CPA to our group, and that CPA will do. The CPA will count going into bank accounts and will monitor all the burns and certify the project,
Right.
certify the phases of work, and make sure that before all of that is done, before we give the money. So the CPA is there with us toe to toe, and so people don't worry. Listen, I know that this is a different approach to everything that we've done, but we put all the safeguards in this so that you have no reason to not give to this project. No reason.
All
so
right.
here's how the project is set up. Online, let me give you an idea. Online. So you want to give to your parish. My parish is St. Mary, and I believe that St. Mary is going to win this competition, right?
And I
So
was
I go on-
hello.
Where are you from, Lady B?
I'm from I have a dual passionship.
Listen, man.
Kingston
We need to
and
know where you come
Clarendon.
from.
Kingston and
Which one
Clarendon.
All right. we're going to choose Kingston, right? All right, so we believe that St. Mary is going to win. So I send Lady D a link and say, Lady D, donate to St. Mary Final. Give $20 for us, okay? Lady D goes on. When she opens that link, she sees the parish of, not the parish, the map of Jamaica sitting in front of her. And when she looks on, there are some, if she scrolls over each parish, the project will pop up on her. She can click that link, and once she clicks on her parish, which is Kingston, right? She clicks on Kingston, what happens is the entire scope of work will show up right there, right? Okay. So you'll see what is wrong with the school, if it's eaten up by rats and the floors are bad and the desks have been there for 200 years and all that. The scope of work will show up right there, right? So you know what you're giving to. You just hit the donate button, $20, and so happens. There is also a clock up there that tells you, it tells you how much money is sitting there. So if Kingston has a $100 when you've been there, when you put your $20 off, that clock will move to $120. So you're seeing your money go to, you're seeing your money into the bank account. You understand?
Very good.
And so these are the things that people want to see. Right? All right. And so we will also provide you, if you like the online thing, or check it. We can also provide you, we will also provide you with a location, an address where you can mail your check. Though we prefer that you go online and do it, because you get to see a movie right there. And you know at the end of the day, because when you pop up, you see, okay, we have $2 million, and all 14 parishes so far has given up to $950,000, but your parish has given $50,000. That kind of thing. You know, you can see the entire thing right there. You see on the 31st of January, when we have compiled all of the reports, you'll see right in front of you how much money we made, and we'll tell you how the money is going to be spent. That's easy. That's how we plan to do it. It's a big project, but it's all in one good package.
All right, so we're wrapping up now, Leo, but I say that we all are impressed with this very impressive venture that you have all decided to undertake, and the fact that you went into a camp setting to bring children to where they needed to be, because they were performing at subpar level. That says a lot that you all care, and clearly it is all people who have a passion for wanting children to learn, to see our nation be on the map of education at its highest level. Because whether they started from, you know, I like, you asked me if you can talk Patois. I said yes. If they started from class to B class, then they went up to first, what did it name, senior Cambridge, this and that. you know that I just went backwards. But the fact is that you are all trying to make things better on the education platform, and we laud you for it. And you make it exciting, because here you are now implementing a competition where people can actually vie to see if Clarendon is going to beat St. Mary or Portland, and you know, and they can see how their money is moving online. So we congratulate everybody. Oh, please come on. Hi. Yeah. Well, I'm sure if you saying should join in, you know, then Portland will just run with the whole thing. Portland will just finish off the whole competition right there. But you know, we want to say congratulations to the Jamaica Diaspora Educational Task Force. You are chairman along with your team. Thumbs up to all of you. And if someone who is listening and they are an educator and they would also like to be a part, and not necessarily an educator, but they too have an interest in want to see our nation's education system become the best in the world, how can they make contact with the organization?
I am going to give you 2 email addresses because I don't care if you are in education or not, as long as you're interested in advancing education. We want you to be on here. My email address is leogilling, Leogilling, Leogilling @gmail.com. That's very easy, right? Leogilling. And I know my colleague, she's listening right now.
Carlene.
Yes, you can say hi to Carlene.
Yes,
Hi, Carlene.
hi, Carlene.
Carlene, don't mind me giving out her email address so she will Carlene, with a K, Karlene, M as in mother, Largie, Largie. So let me spell it out one more time for you. Karlene, M, Largie, Largie, at AOL.com.
I have duly.
Want to say, if you don't mind, I want to say, thanks for all the guys who have been working with us over the past 3 years. There's Leslie Ann Samuel, Carlene, there's Susan Davis, there's Dion Pierce, there's Vanessa Butler, there's Marlon Samuel, and our lead here is Edwards. Colleen Edwards. She's doing such a wonderful job, and all the people who have, Campbell, the embassy staff, Ariel and Marsha, and the DCAD staff in Jamaica with Ambassador Saunders and Lincoln and the rest of the guys. Everybody, we are thanking you for I'm sorry, I don't want to miss out anybody. Latoya Harris, Colonel Moore at JN at VMBS, Carolyn Mahfood over in Grace Kennedy. I love you guys. I love to work with you. You guys are doing a wonderful job, and this could not be happening without each of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations once again. And I am asking you to send me updates so I'll be able to put it on air.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Blessings, Lee Gilling.
Nice to hear you.
Yes, nice seeing you too. Thank you for joining me today.
Wonderful evening to you.
All right.